What were we talking about before? I think I wrote it down.
I hope so.
Yeah. I looked at that trailer for that movie you told me about with Guillermo Del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that thing for a little bit, and I got to admit, like, I don't get it. I don't get what he's.
I don't either, and that's the thing. He always cuts a good trailer.
I do believe that Bradley Cooper should be recast as Indiana Jones. He should be Indiana Jones. That hat, you see how good he look in that hat?
My man has always looked good in the hat, and people sleep on how freaking good Bradley Cooper really is, just as an actor in general.
I don't think we sleep on it. I think he's just comfortable to the point where he's not taking as many roles, right? We don't see him often.
And that, I feel like that hurts him. Like he needs a blockbuster.
I don't think he wants to be that guy. He had that with The Hangover, and he was like, nope, I'm going to slow down and do the Silver Linings playlist. I'm going to take these small indie films.
If I was his agent, I would have been like, you should never do a sequel to The Hangover.
Only way I'm doing the superheroes if I'm doing just the voice. Yo,
Right. And I don't even think he needs to do a superhero thing. I'm just saying, like, yeah, if he was Indiana Jones, that would be great.
Yeah.
But, you know, he definitely needs to... oh, you finally got your stuff together. I didn't even see that.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, now you tell me.
Oh, yeah, this is, I got that on footage. All this. All that.
Hold on, I ain't even...
But you need a hat?
No.
I need a hat. You see all this?
I made that my birthday wish.
What was your birthday wish? No need for a hat?
I told my wife, I was like, yo, I need some hats. Like, you know, when we going out and stuff, I can't just always rock E-Man's movie reviews. I need a hat.
Word.
You know, give me I don't know, something that you would like to see me in.
That would be nice, right? If they get something that they think you look good in.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I'm like, yo, you my wife. Like, you should be dressing me up the way you think would make me attractive to you.
That goes both ways. You dress your wife?
I don't dress her, but I compliment her strategically on things that I like, and I don't compliment her on things I don't like.
Yes, all right. That's an experienced husband.
I'm like, yo, them pajama pants, homie.
Yeah, that's an experienced husband right there. Yeah.
Where can I get you more of them?
So, all right.
Oh, now you record. See, you always.
I've been recording. This whole thing has been recorded. I told you, I caught all of this. You leaning all up in your chair, caught all that. You know, I always listen. I open every one of these videos with like a joke or a blooper, and this is how I get them.
I don't want none of that.
I think the last one I used, you trying to order food and them canceling your order.
Say that again?
Never mind. You don't watch these videos, no way.
No. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do.
So, what are you working on? What are you sitting here doing? You arguing with people in your comments again?
No. I was actually just watching, I was reading some stories.
No.
Seeing if there was more, if there was anything else, any other news.
No. There was Venom 2. They didn't let you see no screener, but they let fans see the screener.
Ha! Red flag.
Right? You had to go into your forums and explain to people, like, listen, if they don't let critics see the screener, there's a reason.
Yeah. That is. Listen, I don't know how I have to explain this all the time to people. Like, you never want a movie. Whenever a movie sits here and says, or a movie studio, when they be sitting here talking about like, oh, this is only for the fans, or we made this for the fans, like that should always be a red flag.
Yeah.
Because what does every studio want? They always want not only money, that's the number one reason, but they also want recognition, right? How do you get recognition? By making a movie or a TV series that's actually well made, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get best picture, you get good actors to get best actor, etc., etc. So then when it comes to a marketing perspective, they can sit here and be like, look, Emmy award winning, blah, 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 blah. Oscar award winning, blah, 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 blah. And like when they have that capability, what do they do with that? They market it even more to make more money. That's the game. So if money is the end game, awards and recognition is a means to that end game, you have to also think about like, well, what does it really mean when it's like only for the fans? Behind the scenes, what it really means is, okay, sorry, I had to put my get the headphones in. All right, so what it really ends up meaning is the fact that the studio's nervous.
Yep.
Right? Because if the end goal is more money, what do you do to get more money? You need the most amount of eyeballs and the most amount of attention to have people go watch it and pay for it and see it.
Some positive word of mouth.
You need that, right? The number one way that has been proven since the dawn of like storytelling has been to tell these stories, to screen these things for the press.
Right.
Why? Because the press has access to millions and millions of viewers.
Right.
You give it to the varieties, the deadlines, the Hollywood Reporters, the comicbook.coms, people that have millions of people checking for them. You let them see the movie first. You let them give it positive reviews, and then that's going to hype people up. That's your marketing. That gets you a bigger budget, right? Or a bigger box office take in.
That's when them outlets start putting the movie, they start appearing in the movie posters in the marketing, right? You'll be like, comicbook.com says it's amazing, things like that.
Right. And this is like a week or two before the movie even comes out.
Exactly.
So now you sitting here like, oh man, this outlet said it's a masterpiece. This one said it's the best Marvel movie ever, blah, 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 blah. Like all those different type of things, that's to get butts in the seats.
Right.
But when you sit here and you we're only going to do a fan screening and not a press screening, what are you doing?
That's a terrible sign.
It's a terrible sign because it shows that you don't have enough confidence to give it to bigger outlets. Maybe because the movie sucks.
They don't want that negative.
Or maybe because they don't want to get that negative stuff. Now here's another red sign. Another red sign is the fact that, at least from what I heard, the embargo, which is the day when us press can actually talk about the movie, doesn't lift until Thursday, which is right when the movie comes out.
So I got a question for you. Venom 1. When did you screen that? Was it like the week of, or was it a week before? Do you remember?
I want to say it was around the week of. And that was yet another reason I was like, ooh, why y'all giving this to us so late? Because usually, especially for example, Suicide Squad. We got Suicide Squad maybe like 2-3 weeks before, that was the case. And here's the thing. I try to tell people there are levels, right? So you have the primary level, which is the biggest outlets. Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, right. The number one,
like
right? That's number one level.
The B team, the C team.
A team, B team, C team, right? That's the A team. I'm like maybe on the B team. Sometimes I'll go to the C team, but I'm on the B team. That's where you have a large enough outlet that's substantial enough, and you basically get the second round of screenings and stuff. And then after that, C team is like, it's everybody else. If
you screen it with the fans.
Right, you screening it with the fans. You still get it a little early, but it's a little bit closer to the date.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching Suicide Squad 2-3 weeks, the A team, they watching it like a month before me.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So like they really, really get it early because they have to do the press junket, which means in order to interview, you got to see it. So if they're doing that way before I even get my little B team screener, the studio's very confident. But if nobody is getting it until like a week before, you know what they do this with? Horror movies.
Yes.
When horror movies
are bad,
which are very low budget, horror movies today are so poorly made. They're made just with cheap jump scares.
Hold on. That's not fair of horror movies, because some horror movies, even if they're bad, you'll get them early just so that they could get the press, right? They're that desperate for press.
That's not true.
Some
I don't get horror movies.
you don't look at the
until
horror
the
movies.
week of. Like it's
You
literally
just talking about like the James
Wednesday
Wan movies.
No, I'm telling you, this is a common thing. The horror movies, if they come out on Friday, we will get the screener on Wednesday
or Thursday.
They'll give us like 1 or 2 days to screen it
But
and write something.
we got to really be honest with ourselves here. We're talking about Venom. We're talking about some horror movies. Where are our expectations really supposed to be with these movies? Remember, this isn't a Marvel-produced movie. This is a Sony-produced movie with minimal Marvel involvement. So really, what are our expectations supposed to be? Were you really expecting to see this 2 or 3 weeks in advance?
I mean, here's the thing. I'm expecting every movie to be, given the amount of work and the amount of money that goes into these projects. We're not talking about an indie movie here.
No,
we're not talking about
no.
somebody shooting this on their iPhone and calling it
no.
a day. We're talking about a major production studio putting big name talent, Tom Hardy, Andy Serkis, Woody Harrelson. We're talking about people, Naomi Harris.
Okay,
we're not talking about some chump change.
We're not, here. But really, you saw Venom 1. I saw Venom 1. I'm just asking, based off of what we've seen, this is a sequel.
Sure.
Really, what are our expectations supposed to be for Venom 2?
So my thing was that I don't even remember who the director was for Venom 1.
It was,
I don't even remember.
It was something Cologne. It was like a Spanish director.
So it's not a name brand person.
Director.
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's nobody like name brand like that.
Don't
Andy
do that.
Serkis is starting. He's starting to make his name out there. Like, you know, he did Mowgli. We already know his work, you know, in front of the camera and stuff.
Ruben
so I
Fleischer,
think the so I think the expectations for Andy are a little bit higher in terms of bringing us something better, given his experience and given what he's already the track record that he's starting to create.
Now,
so the expectations are higher. Now, are they like Christopher Nolan high?
No.
Are they, you know, Russo brothers high with the Marvel? No, not at all. But are they higher than Venom, the first one? Yes.
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know because I wouldn't say Andy
I'm not
Serkis.
going in there with the
I'm
same
not saying
thing.
Andy.
It's a different director.
Is Andy Serkis really an upgrade over Ruben Fleischer? I was saying, like, really, when you compare Ruben Fleischer to Andy Serkis, right? Is that really an upgrade?
Yes.
We would. Why?
Just name recognition.
Ruben Fleischer.
That's all.
Why are we playing? What has Ruben done in the past that he doesn't deserve recognition?
What's his last name?
Fleischer. F-L-E.
Oh, Fleischer.
Yeah. So he's done.
Right. Let me look at what he's best known for.
Zombieland. 30 minutes or less. Zombieland Double Tap. Gangster Squad. Uncharted. Venom. He doesn't have a terrible resume.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I'm not saying it's a great resume.
You watch those?
Yeah, I've seen Zombieland.
I like the Zombieland.
I like Zombieland.
I'll give him credit for that.
I saw 30 minutes or less with Aziz Ansari and him and that dude again from Zombieland. He likes to work with
I did not watch that.
Eisenberg with Jesse.
I didn't watch 30 minutes.
I did. I like Aziz Ansari. I'm a Aziz Ansari.
I do too. He's good.
Yeah, so it was like, all right, Aziz Ansari, you know.
I mean, I get. Look, listen. Like I said, I
didn't see Gangster Squad. I'm
the
not a
only
Ryan
reason
like that.
The only reason for me to have higher expectations is just the name recognition. That's all.
I hear you.
That's all.
I'm just saying, but if you look at his track work, he's
sure.
a capable guy. He's a guy that you could say there and be like, you know what,
for sure.
Venom. I could see this.
Yeah. I mean, but like for me personally, if I hear Andy Serkis is doing something, the fact that, you know, that they chose him, that they really believed in him, I'm like, okay, cool, go for it, do your thing.
I hear you, but I'm just saying Andy Serkis doesn't have that type of directing experience in his filmography.
He does not. But
right. He's been around great films.
But that's the thing. Like, a lot of times you can circumvent that direct to director experience with all the stuff you've done in front of the camera. So for example, if because this is going to happen soon, Denzel Washington is going to start directing some movies.
He's directs
Are
movies.
we going to Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. So like, will the expectations be any different given his track record in front of the camera? You know, like his directing experience, not to my knowledge, is not that extensive. Obviously, he's acted way more than he's directed, but because of his acting and because of the caliber of an actor he is, I think people will go in with the assumption like, oh, if it's Denzel directing, the expectations are higher than just some random director.
I agree with that. And, you know, that goes with a few actors that are aspiring to be directors, right? George Clooney does it.
Or Halle Berry.
Or Halle Berry.
Questionable.
I think
Regina
half
King.
the cast of
Regina
Friends.
King was an interesting one.
Yeah, but I'll say my opinion is they're hit or miss, right? Some actors are very, very talented, but they don't always transition to great directors. Not everybody's a Clint Eastwood. Not
just
everybody
like
is
a player becoming
Ben
a
Affleck.
coach.
Yeah, right? So there are those that are really good at it. I'm just saying, I don't see anything that shows me that he's exceptional at it too. Right, he's not like a Ben Affleck. I think he's done. What has he done? He's done Breathe.
Talking about Andy?
Yeah, he's done Breathe, and he's done The Jungle Book. I think.
Yeah,
those are his.
Mowgli, I think.
Those are his 2 film experiences prior as director.
Yeah.
So he's been around the Lord of the Rings production. He's been around the MCU. He's been around these things, but I would say I would feel more comfortable with Fleischer over him just based off of his experience. He's done more films. I
mean, based off of the last Venom, I wouldn't want Fleischer.
So Fleischer did good for his Venom, right? He created a movie that performed almost $1 billion in the box office. I don't see
sure.
Right? That's actually remarkable.
I think that was more the character than anything else. I don't think that was because of Fleischer.
Dude, the character did carry him a lot, but the character only carries you so far. Right, the character could carry you to like maybe 100 million, maybe even 200 million, right? Like, and if it's the right character, you'll get Justice League numbers, right? You'll get your 600 million, but to 800 million, that means
Is that what Venom did?
Yeah, it did almost 900 million in the box office.
856.
Yeah. So when you hit that almost $1 billion, that's when you're like, all right, this is different, right? We're not talking about, you know, you're just doing these numbers off of name recognition. Now you're at a point where somebody actually likes what you put together. Now, whether or not we appreciated what he did with the symbiotes in the first one, audiences did enough to push this film to the box office that it achieved.
Okay, there you are.
So yeah,
You froze on that.
Yeah, you froze on me too. But I was saying Fleischer. I would trust Fleischer. I would. Because I haven't seen Serkis do a movie with that.
I don't care who's in front of it. I don't trust the studio's direction with the character of Venom right now. I don't like the whole concept of, hey, we got to make this character, you know, funny. I don't like the whole buddy cop type of thing that they're trying to do with it.
Okay.
That's what that's what personally has not resonated with me. And as a result of that, the films, like the first film, I didn't like what they ended up doing with that. I mean, what was that other evil
Scream,
symbiote at the end? No, it wasn't Scream. The one at the end of the first one.
It doesn't matter. Say
whatever it was.
Something.
I was like, dang, y'all just wasted this character.
Yep.
Because this literally should have been our setup
for Carnage.
Right? But like, you did it already. I mean, that character even had the axe, you know, like the infamous axe that
they should have just made him Carnage. Honestly, they should have just gave that actor and let him be Carnage.
They could have just done that, or just make him a unique Venom wannabe.
Yeah. Like,
just make him look like Venom and just say like, oh, he's just a bigger version or whatever. And this kind of dances into that issue that I was talking about with the mirror villains, right? Like, mirror villains are played out and they're tired. And that's one of the biggest issues I have with the direction of Sony, because Sony does not know how to innovate very well when it comes to their Marvel properties. And that's my fear with Venom too. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Venom doesn't have a lot of good villains worth bringing out.
Or memorable.
Venom doesn't have a lot of memorable villains.
I know. And that's when you asked me before, like, how I'm feeling about this, That's
All
why.
right. Well, we know what the red flags are. That's why I was saying the expectation should have been low in the first place. We knew we wasn't going to get any opportunities to screen this in a reasonable amount of time. And now the fans understand where this sentiment comes from. We go through this all the damn time.
Yep. So anytime, once again, anytime a studio says we're doing this for the fans, it's BS. I mean, yes, you're doing it for the fans, but you're really doing it for the money.
Let the fans see it first.
You would love for it, for the movie to get some technical awards as well. Nobody goes and puts tens to hundreds of millions of dollars into a movie for it to be crappy.
Nope.
Nobody does that. Just no. That's just a way to save face and be like, hey, you know what? Don't be surprised when you watch on Rotten Tomatoes if Venom 2 is terrible with critics and great with fans. Don't be surprised. And I try to tell people this all as well. And this is a huge thing people need to get. This whole divide between critics and fans is stupid and it's manufactured BS. There is no real beef between critics and fans. Critics do not go into movies hoping that it's bad. That's just not what it is. And it's not like, people really need to understand, critics go in with a whole different agenda than fans do. Fans only go into movies to be entertained. That's the point. You're paying your money to have a good time, and you hope you end up having a good time. That's it, to be entertained. Critics go in to evaluate a movie. It's like work. It's like a homework assignment. That's a whole different thing than what fans have to do. Yes, along the way, we might be entertained. Yes, along the way, we might love a movie, but we're there to actually analyze it and break it down. No fan goes into movies talking about, you know what? Let me go pay attention to the tone and how that sets up the character development and how the cinematography complements the setting. Fans don't do that. That's not what many fans do. If you do that, you should be a film critic because you playing around with what film critics do. I'm going in to see how the plot develops. I want to see how the second act complements and supports the third act. I'm going in for those technical things. You're not, as a fan. You know, so this is why when they just say, oh, it's just for the fans, that means the movie might be entertaining, but it could also be made terribly too.
Hold on. Okay,
both
Google.
Things can be...
Silence. Sorry, I had that alarm for a meeting that got canceled.
Nah, I just want people to understand it is perfectly acceptable for both things to be true. You can be entertained by poorly made movies. So if a movie is critically panned, that doesn't mean you still can't have a good time with it. It doesn't mean you won't laugh. Doesn't mean you won't find some things that are cool in it. But it still could mean that the movie's bad too. Both things can be true, and that's okay. Why? Because we all like bad movies. Who doesn't like a bad movie? There are movies to this day I'll be like, yo, this stuff is terrible, but I'm gonna watch it anyway because I have a good time with it. Mortal Kombat is probably like the best example for me. I will watch Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. As bad technically as they are, I'll still watch it and have a good time with it.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Them bad movies that be good. Well, Venom's gonna fall in those following the footsteps of famously bad movies that we're entertained by. I'll watch it at least once, buddy cop or not.
Mm-hmm.
What else was we gonna talk about today? You know, what was that other thing we was talking about before? We was talking about Disney.
What about them? Oh, the contract.
Oh yeah, they done switched things up after Scarlett Johansson then tore up in that.
Yeah,
I guess her lawyers said some interesting points that they decided to change company policy.
I mean, it was always inevitable, right? Like, there was no way, and I was telling people this even when it came to the theaters, there was no way Disney or even WB was going to be able to maintain this idea that we're just going to do this dual release model and keep all those profits with all the subscribers and stuff. It was always a short-term investment. It was always something like, yo, We're going to put these big movies on this platform because we just opened up this streaming platform and we need subscribers. We need subscribers for what? So that way we can market it and say, yo, we just added 70 million subscribers. What happens then? Share prices go up for the stockholders. Then Disney becomes more valuable. WB becomes more valuable. They sell their stocks. They make more money and they make more investments. That's the game at the end of the day. However, the people that get screwed in that short-term process are the talent, the directors, the theater box offices, the actors, the agents, all the people that normally in this business would do a huge revenue share where they would get a slice of all the profits and everything. Residuals. They got cut out. They got cut out of the residuals. This is why after HBO or after WB made that blockbuster announcement that all these big movies are going to drop in 2021, a couple months later, after a little backlash, they was like, see what had happened was, and they started making negotiations.
First it was Christopher Nolan who made noise. Immediately, Christopher Nolan made noise. Like, nope, that's whack. First off, you're not doing that with my movie.
Villeneuve did the same thing. The Dune director.
With Dune, yeah. And
so, like, it was never sustainable. You can't just sit here and cut people out, blame the pandemic, and not pay folks. You know, like, you have to adjust, and
Warner
this
Brothers
is what's
is
happening
just
with
more
Disney.
Tactical about it, because when they realized because as soon as they got backlash, they went to the biggest film directors. Once Christopher Nolan did what he did, they went to Villeneuve, they went to Patty Jenkins, they went to those directors and was like, look, we'll break you off from now. Right, the smaller directors, the smaller films, you on your own. Y'all wasn't going to do good, no way. Y'all just be glad that we put you in front of more eyeballs. Yeah, we put you.
That was better for them.
Now you
anyway.
have a better chance for Mortal Kombat 2. All right, you guys, Joe Teslam, all you guys better be happy because we just did you a favor. But those bigger films, we're breaking them off. And Disney, when it was time to put out Black Widow, when it was time to put out Mulan, when it was time to do those things, they saw with Mulan, they didn't have no big names attached to it. They were able to do the dual release and not have any backlash. They tried that with ScarJo. Immediately,
it was problems. It was a problem.
Problems.
Yeah, and you know, the sad thing is that, you know, everybody behind her, all the movies behind her, are benefiting from her loss, unfortunately, right? So, you know, what was it? Jungle Cruise with The Rock. He was like, nah, we not about to sue Disney or anything. Why? Well, later reports turn out or have reported that the reason why they weren't going to do it was because they were working on a sequel with Disney. It was also said that Emma Stone was considering suing, but turns out she also was doing a sequel with Disney. And then another report came and said, the reason why they're doing these sequels is because in lieu of all the pandemic and the residual issues and the lawsuits, we want more upfront money now. They're renegotiating contracts because they don't want to be in ScarJo's position. So, you know, and then even after that, Shang-Chi, The Eternals, a number of other Disney, because Disney just released this not too long ago, last week, a number of other Disney titles and Marvel titles, Star Wars titles, whatever, exclusive to theaters for the rest of 2021. They're like, yo, we not playing with this. We not doing that dual release model no more. All of these are going to do that. What has Shang-Chi been doing the last 3 weeks? It's been sitting at #1, and it still ain't even go to China, by the way. It still ain't go to China. But it's been #1 in the box office, breaking pandemic records because it's exclusive. That's all Black Widow wanted to happen, was like, yo, if you do that with us, we could have been making money too.
That's Disney's fault, because you know what? That just tells you they didn't have faith in it.
Yes and no.
They didn't have faith in it.
To be fair, they did delay Black Widow multiple times. They did. And I think that was mainly Kevin Feige. I think Feige was like, we can afford to keep pushing this back. And I think it was Disney that was like, yo, we your daddy. We gonna drop this movie and you gonna like it. And you know Feige's a company man. He ain't gonna bite the hand that feeds him.
It's clear.
But reportedly, he wasn't happy.
It's clear that the new CEO of Disney runs Disney very differently than the old CEO of Disney.
Yeah.
Because he's very... he's emphatic about him being in charge. He's like, no, this is the new normal.
Right.
You work.
But here's the
me.
problem. The biggest problem is the fact that we should have never known about this. Like, we should have never heard of a lawsuit. We should have never heard of this. Should have went straight to arbitration, which is normal. This is normal, the new normal. Right? Like,
he wants to air it out.
It's not.
Chapek is not doing this unintentionally. He knows when things like this is happening too many times to be by accident, right? This is what the third or fourth but Chapek comment.
The problem is the fact that this is not the way. This is not conducive for Disney and how they operate.
No.
Disney does not like their image tarnished in any way. They are a brand where their image matters more than damn near anything else. That's why they don't do adult stuff.
Yes.
That's why they're so hesitant on doing
Disney
things.
Is evolving, and they chose the CEO to steer them through this evolution, right?
Well, they thought he was gonna play by the book, but he's playing more by the corporate book. Well, he's playing by the corporate
he's a corporate
book.
man.
He's not. He's looking at the bottom dollar.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at like, yo, what can we do to make money? Because that's what he was there for. He was running the theme parks, Bob Chapek. He wasn't there, and this was also reported, he doesn't have a lot of experience dealing with talent. He doesn't have a lot of those social skills that also need to be, those intangibles, that come along with being the CEO. Ain't nobody caring about your image when it comes to the theme parks. That's like, yo, build the ride, make it fun, make money.
Here's my thing. He's not going to be well liked, right? And he knows that, and he's comfortable in that skin. He's like, he's like the he's like the Ike Perlmutter. Right? I'm going to run this corporately to success. And I'm going to bring in so much profit that it will be acceptable. It's going to be acceptable.
But the problem with that,
that's who he is, and that's what it is. That's who they
also
hired.
Comes with a lot of negative press.
It does come with negative press.
When your name keeps going out there, I've said this to people too, like a CEO has multiple jobs. One job obviously is you need to make the company money. But the other job is you can't make the company look bad either.
Now,
like, if companies look bad, even if you bring in money, the shareholders are cool, but when you start getting negative press and stuff.
Ike's Perlmutter was CEO from bankruptcy to major multi-billion-dollar major film studio. He's still the CEO. He's just no longer in charge of the MCU. However, he was, and I'm not going to say nobody else could have done it, right? Or they couldn't have done it without him. I'm just saying he was the man in charge from bankruptcy to multi-billion-dollar.
And that's kind of what you need, right? Like, you need somebody that's money focused to get you out the money pit. Right? Like that's absolutely what you need. So Perlmutter was great for that situation. The problem is the fact that like Iger took that success from Perlmutter and basically was like, all right, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna still take it to a new level, and he basically was like, yo, here's a well-oiled machine. All you got to do is maintain it. This is all you really got to do is maintain it. Like I've put all the right people in charge to make all the right decisions when they need to. Each operation can dictate what they need to do that's best for their own division. There's no real need for middle management.
All I'm saying,
it was cool. Like, yo, you and me could have walked into that and just been like, we run Disney, and just sat back.
Could have.
And let people just do what they do.
It's almost every CEO's expectation to outperform their predecessor.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
and you have to make a name for yourself. You have to say, I did this.
This is what happened. It's like being president, right? You have to have your one major thing, right?
Right.
So for him, it's going to be about restructuring and getting a little bit more better with their corporate and their agreements and their structured agreements. The things that Iger didn't always make public or show if he was extremely good at. I'm not saying he was bad at it, but I don't know if he was good at it. It's not public, right? He's going to say, nope, I'm going to do great at it and I'm going to make it public, but I'm also going to be authoritative along the way.
Right.
That's the new CEO. This is the new Disney. And I'm not mad at it because I promise you, he's going to make our share prices go up.
Listen, I'm not mad at him from that end. I just, my issue with Chapek has always been more of, I don't really like the fact that you don't know how to handle this in-house business. Like, you should have taken ScarJo and her agent and been like, yo, it's in our contract. If you have an issue,
you know what happened.
We can take it to arbitration.
You know what happened. Somebody said, yo, ScarJo's unhappy. They said, he looked over and said to his assistant, did we kill her yet? Do we need her? No, she's dead. We don't need her no more. Then why are you talking?
No. You're right. You're right. But at the same time, like, it was also, even in the reports, they were saying the lawsuit was nothing new. It's just the fact that Disney basically turned their back on her, just ignored her, and she was like, oh, okay. If y'all not gonna pay me no mind when I tell you I'm about to take you to court, I'm gonna use the court of public opinion as additional leverage.
They're gonna settle,
and it's kind of like,
get her check.
Why didn't you take her seriously in the first place?
Disney's gonna.
They already are. They in arbitration.
That's arbitration.
Right now.
They're gonna settle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different type of court.
They're gonna settle. They're gonna settle out of court. They're gonna drop the lawsuits. Yeah. The only thing we should be asking ourselves now is, what character do we want to see her play in the DCEU?
Who?
ScarJo.
I mean, in the DCU?
Yo, she's not going back to Marvel, right? That's the end of
She don't have to. I mean, honestly, she really doesn't have to be in anything.
No, but she's going to want...
superhero
No. She
related.
doesn't have to be anything superhero related, but she is going to want to be a tentpole actress, right? She's going to want to be like the next Lara Croft or the next 007 or something. Every actor in her position wants that thing. They want to be that Robert Downey had. What Robert Downey had.
I mean,
for
she's
10
been
years.
Black Widow. That's been her thing.
And it carried her for a while, right? It carried her. It got her some films where she was able to get Academy Awards. What was that, Wedding Story or something, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or whatever, Jojo Rabbit, whatever, right?
Jojo Rabbit,
right? She won some awards for that, but those weren't the ones that were making her money. Those are the ones that get her in the door. Now, if she wants to negotiate money, she needs those box office hits consistently. And Black Widow was going to be her nice starting off point for her solo career. Be like, look, I brought in $1 billion when I left Marvel. Now it's not. So she needs something if she wants to continue to pull in.
I don't know if DC's the answer.
Why not? They'll pay her. You saw.
I'm sure
James Gunn will
I just don't know
give
if that's
her
the answer.
that. They'll be like, look, James Gunn will be like, oh, here's her agent. Here's her agent's number. Here you go, Warner Brothers.
Okay. I just don't know who.
Taika Waititi's over here.
I don't know where you want to. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like a role for her.
Batwoman. I don't care.
That.
She would make a.
Because I mean, she is getting older, so she can't play like the younger role.
Angelina Jolie
like
is starring in a Marvel movie. As
the Eternals.
Yes.
And
as is Salma Hayek.
I would not bank on either one of them being long-term people.
No, but I
don't be surprised if Salma Hayek's character gets killed off. No, I'm for real. Like, don't be surprised, because you have to keep in mind, like, some of these experienced actors are only doing it. Look at Jeff Bridges. He wasn't in there in Iron Man trying to be there forever. He was like, man, just kill me off. Like, whatever.
No. But some of these older ones, like Josh Brolin, they're like, yo, make me Cable.
Right? I mean,
like, I'm here.
I don't know how much we're going to see him like that.
Keanu Reeves is like, what? More Matrix? I'm in. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Right? They ready for it. Some of them, they're doing more in their
Some of them.
And these older actors are getting these roles. Right? Idris Elba.
I just don't know.
Ain't young.
I just don't know what you would want to put Scarlet in.
That'll be fun to think about for the next one. But for right now, it's like, that's she's not going to work with Disney. Right? There's only so many studios available. There's Sony, who may or may not work with her. Warner Brothers, who would accept her with open arms.
Oh, well, I don't know if they want to go this route.
Really,
she could be Black Cat. I wouldn't mind her as Black Cat.
Catwoman.
No, Black Cat.
I would prefer her as Catwoman.
Spider-Man. I'd be cool with her as Black
Peter
Cat.
had a relationship with Black Cat.
I mean, that doesn't mean they're gonna do that there.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna make like a teenage version.
I was
of Black
just gonna
Cat.
say Ben Affleck's Catwoman. She would own that.
That's
role.
not. I don't see that. That's a supporting role for her.
No,
though.
unless she gets
the only
a
reason
movie
I said,
out of it, because Catwoman.
Or Silver Sable. She could be Silver Sable. It would suck, because as Silver
She's
Sable,
basically Black Widow.
it's damn near Black Widow.
Nobody.
But at least Sony is trying to
doing
give
that.
Silver Sable her own movie.
They also tried to give Aunt
at
May
least.
her own movie. Come on, man, stop it. Stop it, Foz. Chill. Nah.
I'm just listen.
Yeah.
I already told you what my concerns with
Yeah.
Sony, but I'm just saying you were thinking of like other roles for. I don't know, mate.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what they gonna unless they dang, because I feel like she's just gonna get typecast because we've just seen like what was it, Kate, Gunpowder Milkshake, this rash of like female assassin, kick butt, type of characters, and I'm like, I feel like if I'm ScarJo, I'm like, I could do better than that because I've done that already.
Charlize Theron has those roles on lock. She's not getting
on
this.
She has Old Guard
Right.
coming. She's doing Old Guard again.
Charlize Theron, between her and John Krasinski's wife, Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt's a little more versatile.
Emily Blunt is amazing. Oh my god.
She's way more versatile. Like she doesn't have to do anything action. She could just go act and do whatever she
I would
wants.
argue she's among the top 3 working women in acting right now under 50.
Could be.
I would say she's in the top 3.
Could be. I'd like to put Jessica Chastain up there too.
Jessica Chastain is up there, but Jessica Chastain hasn't been really flexing her muscles lately.
She hasn't, and it's weird because of like her role selection. Because I'm like, I just have not seen her in like
Wasn't she in
bigger name movies
like Captain Marvel?
She just did. I don't think so.
I think she was. Wasn't she the villain?
No.
Jessica Chastain?
No, she was not.
Okay. Look at you Googling. Yay. Dude, she was in Captain Marvel. She was the villain.
What? What? Hold on.
Yo.
Who was it? What do you mean?
She was
villain?
no, my fault. It wasn't Captain Marvel. She was in X-Men. My bad.
Oh yeah, she was in X-Men. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's what I'm like. What the hell are you talking about?
It was the Dark Phoenix one.
Yeah, no, I remember her in Dark Phoenix or whatever.
She did a superhero movie.
Like she wasn't in no Captain Marvel.
She did a superhero movie. I'm sorry.
Yes, correct.
See, I almost had you though. We had to Google it. Like, was she?
I was like, wait.
Was she? Yeah, but Jessica Chastain hasn't been flexing her her muscles, right? She's doing Dark Phoenix. What has she done lately?
You still want to talk about Disney?
Nah, I'm over it now. Listen, I done moved on to Jessica Chastain. I'm done.
Okay, just want to make sure.
It done went off in some tangent. See, this is how this happens. We start off on one topic.
That's your fault. I stay on tab. Go watch the tape. I'll stay on tab.
You know what? I'm pretty sure you brought up Jessica. Jessica.
I didn't bring up Jessica. You started talking about what roles should Scarlett be in.
Yeah, then
what
how did we get to Jessica? See, this is... All right. Well, that's all I had. I'm going to hit stop on this recording.
So you only got 2 videos?
2? I don't know how many I got. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. This is going to be the beginning of season 2.
If that's what you want.
That's all I need. Just 2 topics. Okay. Nice and short. Till next time.